Hi there guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero Roundtable with me, your host, Simon Conboy. With me today we've got Dan.
Hey guys.
And a rather dejected Arnie.
Hi.
Still recovering over there, I see. So, I thought last week was pretty good. I enjoyed this weekend.
For you?
Mm-hmm.
For you?
No, even ignoring my own team's game, I thought there were a lot of good finishes this weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of close games, a lot of surprises. And I still don't feel like things are quite coming together yet in the league. There's still a lot of teams I've got a lot of questions about.
No. There's a lot of inconsistencies at the moment with a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been 4 weeks of just utter inconsistency. It's been quite bizarre to watch, quite frankly. I mean, we're talking, the most consistent team in the league right now are the Chiefs and the Rams. And the Browns, obviously.
Well, yeah, the Browns in their unique way. And, yeah, I mean, absolutely bizarre. We got the Bills at the top of the AFC East.
Yeah.
All aboard the bandwagon. Woo woo!
Oh, yeah, that's a team that's legit. But as always, we're going to go through every single game coming up this week, talk a little bit about how each team did in their game from week 4. But before we do that, we've got some news to cover. The pretty significant weekend of injuries. You could probably argue the most significant of the season so far.
Yeah.
So we'll start. Which one do we think's the bigger injury? I think you've got to say Carr's at the minute because it's got a time frame attached to it.
Because they said it's looking between 2 and 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's the bigger one, whereas Mariota is day to day.
Yeah. And not just that, I think the Raiders, considering the division they're in, they do not have as much room for error.
No.
I think Mariota could miss a couple of games and the Titans will still be in that race, whereas this really dampens the Raiders' chances.
Yeah, if anything, if he misses 6 weeks, I would have to go on a limb and say the Raiders might be done. Considering they're 2 and 2.
I'd say. Yeah, if it's 6 weeks, I think they probably are. I don't think they'll be able to win enough games with BJ Manuel.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
No, he's too important to what they do. They're an offensively quarterback-driven team.
Well, we saw what happened when they missed him in the playoffs last year. That was huge.
Yeah, exactly. They were awful in that one. I mean, we'll stick with the quarterback injuries, of course. Arnie, you can take the lead on this one, but Marcus Mariota hurt his hamstring.
Yeah, he got a tweak in his hamstring, basically, so he's day to day. It's looking quite likely he will miss this weekend. So that game just went to being garbage.
What do you mean? Jay Cutler, Matt Castle.
Yeah. Jay Cutler versus Matt Castle, so it's going to be basically Ajayi versus DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. Both teams are going to rely heavily on that run now.
Does anyone suspect the Dolphins-Tennessee game might actually break the record for single game turnovers? Because I'm starting to think so.
No, we've got the Jets versus the Browns.
Yeah.
True. Okay, they're both pretty bad matchups.
But
yeah,
it's a big injury for Tennessee because a lot of our offense is tailored around him. So it'll be
the drop off to Matt Castle significant.
Well, we saw that in the game.
But to me, it's not just the injury. It's him missing practice as well. More time that this group isn't together, being able to develop that needed chemistry.
Well, I mean, Corey Davis and Jonathan Cyprian has been ruled out already.
Corey Davis just can't get his legs right.
Actually, on this QB situation, mainly because this keeps popping up, and I want to help dispel this notion. There's no way anyone listening that the Titans are signing Kaepernick. It's not happening. Stop bringing it up.
Oh no, he's clearly, teams have deemed him toxic. He's better than a lot of the backups in the league, at least in terms of an upside perspective.
Well, no. I mean, to be clear, so we're not knocking on the guy himself. He himself is not toxic. It's the media that will follow him.
No.
And that's the last thing you want in Tennessee.
Yeah, you don't want to invite that situation on There's just no reason to for a backup, unfortunately. I mean, we say that, yet the Eagles did it with Michael Vick, but it's one of those. Some other injuries. Dan, you can take the lead on this one. Marcus Golden, your second pass rusher, he's out for the season.
That was a brutal injury as well. I was watching that live, watching that happen. Oh, God. I think he smacked his knee into the back of one of our own players and it just blew up.
Yep, that'll do it.
But it's just another nail in the coffin for the Cardinals this season. It's another, essential defensive player we're losing on the line. So it's now going to be down to Chandler Jones to actually do anything now. Awesome.
Yeah, they've been pretty mediocre. I mean, I would say this is a big deal, but it just feels to me like this Cardinals team isn't going anywhere this year. So it sucks for them, but yeah, I'm not a believer in this Cardinals team 4 weeks in.
No.
There is another massively, possibly the most significant of these injuries. Dalvin Cook, he's out for the season now.
Wait, hold on. You can't call a running back more significant than a quarterback, injury-wise.
It's the entire season.
Yeah, but Carr's out for 2 to 3 weeks, which is effectively going to end the
If Carr misses
season.
2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's not as significant as the Vikings not having Dalvin Cook for the remainder.
No, the Vikings could deal with New Orleans and get AP back. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't see that one happening. This was a weird injury though, like an almost completely torn ACL, making a cut in the open field.
Yeah, I mean you did see it pop when he was making that cut. It looked brutal.
Yeah, it's bad, and this Vikings team was so promising.
Yeah,
it just feels now.
I would attest that they're still promising because they've still got those receivers. But obviously, the teams playing the Vikings offensively now are just going to be playing them differently. More likely to not have people stacked up in the box. I don't think it hurts their chances by like a massive amount, but it changes the way teams will now play them.
I think it hurts them massively. I think he could argue he was their most valuable player on offense this season. He was looking really good.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to dispute that, but I think at the same time, you got to deal with that how you do. I mean, being a Cardinals fan, I know what it's like losing your star player for pretty much most of the season, let alone the whole season. But they've got enough weapons there to maybe drag it out, and hopefully the other running backs can actually step up. And
I'm not convinced they can overcome this one. I think that probably rules them out of the playoffs for me.
With that defense, really?
Yeah, even with that defense, it'll just be like last year now. The offense.
Oh, poor Minnesota! He just can't get a break.
They're just so unlucky. Them and knees just don't get along. Arnie, do you think they're done?
Yeah, I just think the Sam Bradford injury hasn't helped them. And then adding this on top of that, I just think that offense is deemed for failure now. I mean, they've got a really good pair of receivers there, but if they haven't got the guy throwing it to them or running back to take the pressure off them, it's very hard.
Who have the Vikes got this week? Before we get onto it.
The Vikings are playing the Bears
on Monday night.
Oh, the Bears. Oh, okay. There you go. Nice bye week for them with an injury, I suppose.
Potentially, we'll see what Trubisky's got in that one. Mild spoiler for what's ahead. But we'll move on to the games now. I think those are the main ones. Anyone think of any other significant injuries this weekend?
No.
No, don't think so. No, we've covered them.
Cool. All right, so we'll start with Thursday Night Football. The defending champs head into Tampa to take on my beloved Bucks. I'll take the lead on this one. I mean, obviously the Bucks discussed that yesterday. Had what should have been a comfortable win that they made not so much against the Giants, but the offense played really well. Defense was okay. They need a new kicker in Tampa, but that's not happened yet. The Pats. What did we think of the Pats' performance at the weekend?
The defense is really struggling right now.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah.
They look really slow to me.
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe the Patriots is a little meme I've seen, which is if the original Patriots played D like this, we'd all be British.
Yeah,
I think pretty much describes the situation pretty well. It's not, and I'm surprised. I thought Belichick would actually do something with that defense, but it's just been flat all year.
Well,
and the secondary's been terrible.
We knew the pass rush wasn't great headed in. That's been the case. I'm surprised they've struggled against the run as much as they have. I'm surprised this secondary's not done a better job because they've been really poor. I mean, they've been hung out to dry a little bit by the pass rush, but they have struggled. And the linebackers just can't cover anyone. Well, that linebacking group looks so slow to me.
Well, remind me as well, the secondary, it's not a lot of new additions, is it? It's pretty much the same group of guys from last year.
They added Gilmore.
So
other than that, pretty similar group.
Well, this is the thing that's confusing as well. Is watching them is there's obviously miscommunication going on in the backfield, but I don't know how because they've been playing together for a while now. So
it's just they're just struggling in every facet. I mean, offensively, Brady's playing great. He played well again at the weekend, but he's under a lot of pressure. The offensive line's struggling as well. They're not running the ball particularly effectively. The team's got a lot of flaws at the moment.
No, but we did say this during the pre-season that Brady might be under pressure a lot more than usual this year because that O-line has degenerated over the years. And to be honest, as far as the running back situation goes, I still don't know why they didn't bother re-signing Blunt again because he added something special to that offense.
Well, he added something that they don't necessarily have, but Mike Gillislee's done okay for them. But how do we see this one going?
I said this not last week, the week before. There's no way the Patriots drop 2 games in a row. It just doesn't happen, and it hasn't happened as far as I'm aware. So I've got the Pats picking this up on that strength alone. They seem to be a better team after a loss than they are after a win, because they've got something to prove. So I think the Patriots are going to whoop you, quite frankly.
So you think their defense comes out and actually gets some stops this week?
I think so. It comes down to the problem you got dealing with Tampa is at this point in time, Doug Martin's an unknown quantity coming back off the suspension. So you can't really game plan for him because you don't know which version of Doug Martin you're going to get this week. I suppose if they could take away Jameis's passing targets,
and how are they going? My question
either
now is, how
Evans
are they going to do
or
that?
Djax. I don't know. This is I'm not Belichick, so he'll come up with something. Either that or just pressure Jameis into throwing boneheaded throws all day, which I guarantee that's just what they're going to do.
How is he going to get pressure on him?
I don't know. Through the power of the Emperor, because that's what he is. I don't bloody know. I'm not a defensive coach. But we all know Belichick tries to eliminate one thing from the ball game. I mean, generally speaking, I think maybe the defense probably won't have that much of an effect, but Jameis has got to somehow outscore Tom Brady. And I don't think Jameis is that good yet, quite frankly.
For me, it's not about how good Jameis is, it's how bad this defense is. But Arnie, how about you?
This game's going to be won and lost in the turnover battle, if there is any. I think Tampa should be able to march them down on that Patriots defense, like a lot of other teams has done this year, and they've done really well against that Giants defense as well. But the Patriots, it depends how strong the Patriots offense is against your defense, because it's a defense that showed last week that having Brent Grimes back helped a lot. So if you're taking one person out of the equation, my issue would be you guys dealing with Gronk. It would be a a tough fought one there, but it's gonna. I don't really see defense having too much of an impact on this game because we know Brady can play the elite defenses and win.
Yeah,
it's a really hard one.
We're saying the Bucks are even close to being one of those, but
no. And you know as well, even if you put pressure on Brady, he can get those throws out quick, and they game plan for that anyway. It's a really tough one to call. I never thought this would be a tough one to call.
Patriots have surprised people this year.
Yeah, on the count of them sacking. I'm gonna have to go with the Bucks. There's more on the offense.
Yeah, I mean,
there's more weapons there.
I said this yesterday. I'm going with the Bucks just because I don't feel like this Patriots team is clicking at all defensively, and offensively, it's been effective, but it kind of comes and goes in fits and bursts.
Yeah.
And there's spells in games where Brady's getting heavily pressured and they're kind of struggling. And I think the Buccaneers offense just, especially with Doug Martin back, whilst he is a bit of an unknown quantity, it's just this another guy. It's just, I see there being, this isn't a great matchup when your defense is struggling and you have to go to Tampa. The way the Patriots win this game is turnovers. They're going to have to get some because otherwise the Bucks' defense isn't great, but they'll get some stops. They'll do a good job against the run, and they're not going to let Brady beat them deep. It's going to be very dinky-dunk, and I just think the Bucks' explosiveness on offense will win them the day here. And it just feels like the Bucks need it more, to me. Because the AFC East it's the AFC East at the end of the day. We'll move on to the most exciting game of the weekend. I'm sure you'll both agree. The 2-2 Jets, who thought we'd be saying that, heading to Cleveland. Surely Cleveland have to win this game, right, guys?
You'd think so, but you know they're going to find a way to lose.
Oh, they were awful at the weekend.
So were the Jets.
Utterly awful. I mean, there were no positives to take from that game.
No. But both teams, again, were awful.
The Jets, that was one of the strangest wins I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, they won this game off of 2 massive runs.
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. Ran the ball a little bit. Had a couple of calamitous mistakes themselves. It was weird. The Jets are still clearly a bad team.
After that matchup,
if the Browns going to win a game, it's going to be this game.
You'd think so.
After that matchup, though, can people has the Jaguars hype train died now? Because they lost against the bloody Jets.
We'll get to that when we get.
That hype train should never have existed. But
I'm going with the Browns just because they need it more.
They got to win at some point.
Yeah. I couldn't give you anything else why they would win.
No, they want back-to-back number 1 draft picks. It's fine.
There's something to the Jets. Like they're playing with good effort right now, but I think the Browns will steal this one because they got to win at some point, right? And if you can't win at home against the Jets, 0-16 might be on the cards. So I'm going to go with the Browns, but a lot of credit to the Jets. They're playing hard right now. No, I just don't care.
No,
Totally.
Yeah, it's the Jets. I mean, people are like, the Jets are so bad they can't even tank for the number 1 overall pick properly.
That was me that said that. And yeah, that's the most Jets thing in the world. Oh, we're on track to get a high draft pick, and we win a couple of pointless games. Oh well. Moving on, this one's a good one. Got Carolina at 3-1, heading to take on the also 3-1 Lions.
That is a good one. I mean, Cam Newton played really well this week.
Yeah,
and the defense really stepped up as well. Yeah, I think the Lions squeaked. Did the Lions lose?
No, they beat the Vikings.
No, they won 14-7 because Dalvin Cook's knee exploded.
Oh yeah, that was it. I couldn't remember if it's this week or last week I was thinking of. But yeah, the Lions just about squeaked by. I thought.
They were terrible offensively in the passing game. The Vikings' defense is legit. We're well aware of this. Amir Abdullah had a nice game.
But I think
they could not pass protect.
That's the second week running. The offense hasn't looked great for the Lions.
They've not looked good all year, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Carolina are going to rock from that win, and the they had a great performance on that offense, and the defense looked pretty good.
I would have to favour the Panthers in this one as well, I think defensively they can do a lot of the same things that the Vikings do, albeit not as effectively. But their pass rush has been quite good for the most part this season with their old man defensive end combo. And the Lions' defence, I still don't know what to make of them because they're holding teams, but they're holding bad offensive teams. But they're keeping them in games. But I don't know. I saw Cam Newton in that second half just starting to look dangerous again, especially with the lack of weapons around him to do that. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be shocked if the Lions won because they're just, for some reason, the last couple of years, they're just really hard to beat.
That's because the Lions follow a very simple formula. Keep game closed, defence keeps in it, fourth quarter, Stafford time. Woo!
But how does the defence keep them in it? That's what I don't get. I watched them and I was like, this team isn't good, but they're just hanging around in these games and making big plays at the end.
No,
just
hanging around for Stafford magic.
Panthers should have too much. Panthers should have too much. Dan, who do you think's got this one?
I've got the Lions again. Because I said the Lions would beat the Vikings last week. I was correct. I think they'll beat the Panthers this week. I believe in Stafford more than Cam Newton. I
believe in Stafford more than Cam Newton, but this isn't just about the QBs. We'll move on to the next one then. In fact, no, we need to give the Panthers a bit more credit. Yeah, it was a really good performance from them. Defensively, they were really solid.
Yeah.
Well, they did one of the few things teams can do in this league, and that's walk into Foxborough and win a game.
Well, that's happened twice already this year.
Yep, I think it's. We'll get onto it when we talk about the Patriots, but.
You're a kid.
No, yeah, sorry, yeah, my bad. But I don't know. Maybe the Patriots are in decline now. I don't know. I still don't believe in that Panthers team quite yet.
I don't yet, but I'm more convinced by them than the Lions. I really like the Lions. Remind me of the Giants last year, and the Lions did this as well last year. It's just they seem fraudulent. It's like, yeah, you're winning games, but they're all close, and you're never really convincing. Like Stafford's doing such a good job protecting the ball. That's the only reason this team's alive. But they might prove me wrong. But
I think they will prove you wrong. I do think the Lions will win this. I mean, the Lions have got more of a defense than the bloody Patriots do, so and they've held teams close, So I wouldn't. I think the Lions are gonna squeeze this one out, probably by a score. But
they're not going to blow anyone out. That's not what they do. No. We'll move on. Another game of the week contender. The Niners, after a heartbreaking loss to the Cardinals, they had a chance in that one. They really did.
They bloody didn't.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they marched it into the red zone.
Was that Ellington touchdown a touchdown? Yes, it was. The ref messed up. That shouldn't even have
gone
into overtime.
In that game.
But regardless, they could have won that game. And they're playing against the Colts, who look a little bit better lately. Fell apart in the second half against the Seahawks, but some signs of life. Defense steadily improving. They're at home. The Niners, defensively, they're not terrible.
No. They've kept themselves in. They've kind of done the same what the Lions have done and managed to keep themselves in games. Because they haven't been blown out this year, have they? Every game has been close.
No, but they did surrender, 40 odd points to the Rams. So I wouldn't be too quick to praise the D too much.
No, I've said they've been solid. They've not been a disaster. They need to be better at the front. I think the front four's letting them down. Or at least not living up to their billing. But they'll have a chance this week because this Colts team is not great offensively by any stretch. But I mean, what did you think of the Niners against your lot?
I thought the defense played as I would expect them to against that Cardinals O-line. The offense is, well, it's the Niners offense, really. I mean, nothing to write home about here.
Their passing attack is awful, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I think that's also one of the problems going into this game. The Colts also have no defense, but they've got a couple of, I think they've still got a couple of good DBs in Indianapolis.
They do. Malik Hooker with like his 3rd pick of the season as well.
Yeah, I think the Niners are going to struggle this game, to be honest with you, and I don't see them winning at all. Yeah, the defense might keep them in it because obviously the Colts also have, revolving doors for linemen. But
they've got another injury. They lost their other their centre, who's playing for their injured centre, is now injured.
So they're on to their 3rd centre of the year.
Yeah, onto their 3rd centre.
Bloody hell. But no, I think the Niners did a good job keeping it close with the Cardinals. Obviously, the Cardinals this year, again, nothing special to write home about.
What do we all think of Jacoby Brissett?
He is actually...
He's not making too many mistakes.
He's exactly what I'd expect from a QB who sat behind Tom Brady.
He looks competent, doesn't he?
I think he's going to be one of the hot trade commodities at the end of the year, if I'm honest with you. If you give Brissett at least a half decent O-line, I think he could actually flourish as a passer in this league. I've actually, from what I've seen from him, he does have flashes of good playability, good reads. So I think he is actually a starter in this league for some teams. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to, if Carson Palmer would retire, I wouldn't be opposed to having Brissett. I actually like him as a QB.
So I've got the Colts winning this one, partly just based on the fact they're at home.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. The Niners do not travel well.
No, and their offense, just that pass attack is terrible. Arnie, who you got?
He has to go Niners.
I don't have to. I think the Niners will, though.
They've got to win at some point. The Browns argument, I guess.
Wait, hold on. Do the Niners face the Browns this year? They don't, do they?
No, they're facing us.
No, we could legitimately have 2 0-16 teams in the NFL this season. Yeah!
That would be impressive.
That's quality sports entertainment right there. 2 0-16 tire fires. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Alright, well, next up, we've got 2 of the biggest disappointments as Tennessee, coming off an absolute shellacking, head to the offenseless Dolphins.
Both are offenseless.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. The Dolphins aren't offenseless. It's just they got Jay Cutler at the reins, which basically means you're offenseless.
Well, they were just a mess at the weekend. There were so many penalties in that game. It was hard to watch.
Yeah.
I wonder how many.
First half.
Yeah. Ugh.
I wonder how many people were.
Awesome opening drive as well up until that interception, and then after that they just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
What was it? They got 2 first downs after the opening drive. That's abysmal.
I mean, defensively, they held Drew Brees to 20 points.
Defensively, they've not had too many problems this year. Like, no. Even the week before against the Jets, if you're holding a team to 20 points, you've got a chance at winning the game. It's not supremely impressive. Although it's quite impressive when you consider how much the other team's offenses are on the field at the minute.
Yeah, but the problem you've got in Miami, though, is you face 2 teams. You faced the Jets and lost, somehow, to the Jets. And you faced a paper bag defense in the Saints and put up no points.
Yeah, that's got to be the biggest concern. When they're not just struggling to get points, they're trying to get points on some really poor defences.
Well, poor defences is being a bit generous for the Saints, Jesus. But I don't know what's going on. Who's the backup still in Miami? Is it still Henny?
More.
Is it Moore? Oh, okay. I guarantee you, we're gonna see a Moore sighting at least halfway through the year. There's no way Jay Cutler makes it through the year.
Cutler was poor this weekend. I've defended him in the past, but he was poor. But they've got so many other problems. The offensive line is playing like crap. the play calling has been horrendous from Gase this year.
Oh, can we give a special shout out to the Jay Cutler Wildcat? Best thing
That's
ever.
amazing. Gotta love the effort there from Jay. That guy loves what he does.
Yeah, just standing there lined up in the X position with his arms crossed. It was amazing. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
How does Jay Ajayi only get 12 carries in that game? It wasn't until the fourth quarter they were down by more than 2 scores.
He only got 12 carries?
Yeah.
Seriously? What the hell is going on with that game plan? I thought the game plan for Miami was handball off to Jay Ajayi, question mark.
Ajayi was running well in the first quarter.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot of penalties. It was just a mess. And Arnie, do you want to take it with the Titans? How did they look last weekend?
Like a turd fire.
Yeah, they basically looked like the worst team ever defensively.
Yeah.
And offensively.
Offensively.
Oh no, we had those 2 drives which looked like the team from last week. There was optimism after those 2 drives, at least. I had optimism after those 2 drives.
I was like, at least there may be a chance we're in the game if our defence can figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where that came from. Like, we know the Titans secondary is bad.
Well,
we knew this going into the season. It's not a shock.
Yeah.
But it was all of it. There was no pass rush in this game. That was the biggest surprise to me. Morgan and Arakpo against that Texans line that's not been great.
I mean, Morgan got a bit of pass rush in that game. Casey got a little bit, but apart from that, there was nothing. But the majority of the time, we rushed 3 guys. And even then, we couldn't stop the pass.
Well, it was weird seeing that the Titans basically just looked like they'd given up at half-time. Like, the coaching staff, it looked...
The play calling was terrible.
Yeah, it was like they just quit.
I mean, I haven't been a fan of Robitsky for a while. I don't get how he kept his job last year. So I think we've got the wrong offensive coordinator in Tennessee. I think this was possibly Dick LeBeau's last year in Tennessee.
Well, I mean, you think he'll retire eventually.
Well, I think if this continues with the defense, I think we're going to have a new defensive coordinator in the next 2-3 weeks.
Possibly. How do we see this game at the weekend going?
This is going to be the first time I might go against Tennessee here. If Matt Castle plays, Miami's winning.
You reckon?
Yeah. If Mariota plays, we win. But I think just about. I think this is going to be Ajayi versus DeMarco Murray. I don't see it being any other way.
I don't know. Dan?
Yeah, no, I'm with Arnie on this. If Castle is the starter, no, there's no way. I don't even know why he's still in the bloody league. There's no way Tennessee are pulling this one out. I mean, granted, we're going to see a game of absolutely terrible offensive play calling all game, and it's going to be horrible to watch. But, no, I've got the Dolphins somehow winning this. And yeah, Dolphins are at home, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. The Dolphins have to come out fired up in this one, like, just to get over the embarrassment of these 2 weeks. They have, and I just can't. I don't know if you can play that badly on offense 3 games in a row. And I just think if Matt Castle's starting for the Titans, they're going to come out looking really flat.
What if Mariota starts?
If Mariota starts,
they're Titans.
You'd think the Titans should win. You really would.
If Mariota starts, he's going to come out swinging.
That defensive performance was that bad.
Yeah.
That it's just it. Until I see something else from the Titans, it's hard to pick them.
Well, the Titans have been, I would probably say, the most inconsistent team this year.
On a week-by-week basis, I guess, where it's been like, okay, then... Well, I mean, it's a half-by-half basis.
Yeah.
Even the games where you've been good, you've had like a terrible half. You've got the other problem in Tennessee as well, is in theory, if Mariota starts, is you want him to do what all great QBs in the league do after a loss. Comes out just swinging for the fences. But
no, we're going to rely on the run.
It's not his style, though.
No, we're going to rely on the run no matter who's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the problem. I don't think your offensive coordinator's even remotely aggressive. I mean, obviously, I have Bruce Arians as my coach, so we swing for the fences all the bloody time.
Well, I mean,
But
yeah,
you
when
need
you're
to-
actually looking at the Cardinals and the Buccaneers, you're looking at the two most aggressive down the field teams in the league.
Yeah, it's just there needs to be more aggressive play calling in Tennessee. I mean, you've got the best line, you've got some really good weapons.
And they don't trust the receivers enough.
They should. The receivers have shown themselves to be decent for 4
Have they?
weeks.
I'd say Rashard Matthews has shown himself to be decent.
Delaney
Well, that's the
Walker's
thing,
Delaney
again-
Walker.
Yeah.
Delaney Walker's a good intermediate threat. You're not going to send Delaney Walker 40 yards down the field.
But that's the problem against Houston. The receivers were getting open.
Oh, it was just a mess. We'll move on from this one. So we're all in agreement. If Castle plays, Dolphins.
Yeah, if Mariota plays, Titans.
Okay, cool. It just feels like the Dolphins need this one so bad.
So do the Titans.
I don't know if the Titans will have that same level of urgency. That division's bad.
Hold on. The Titans will have more urgency because no matter what, the Dolphins aren't making the playoffs. The Titans still could.
Dolphins still could.
Over
Only
the
2
Bills
games
and the
back.
Patriots, and after a loss to the Jets,
Well,
I
that's
don't bloody think
The next
so.
game includes the Bills. So we've got the Bills heading to Cincy to take on the Bengals. Bengals got off the schneid, dominated the Browns. I mean, there's not really a huge amount to say about it. The offense got going, could do whatever they wanted. They continued their good defensive play. The Bengals have been very impressive on the defensive side all year.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, Geno Atkins is such a force up front as well.
He's so good at football.
Yes.
He
I
really
mean, the offense, ever since they fired their offensive coordinator, their offense is starting to click more.
Well, the line started to improve, and that's actually something I wanted to mention this week. Is a lot of these struggling offensive lines have started to gel a little.
Yeah.
We've seen with the Giants, like started in that second half against the Eagles. They played better against the Bucks. The Bucks O line looked okay. Even the Seahawks one played actual football this week.
Yeah.
The Cardinals continue to be a disaster on the offensive
Shut
line.
up.
But for the most part, we've seen these lines are starting to come together across the league, and it's leading to some better offensive play. And the Bengals are one of those teams benefiting from it. And similar with the Bills, who, I mean, what can you say about that Bills performance at the weekend? That was wonderful. That's the kind of defensive performance I love to watch.
Yeah. The Bills were fantastic. I mean, they've been a legit unit for the last couple of weeks.
Oh,
So,
and just for reference, called it, by the way. I did say the Bills would win.
You did. I
I'm
didn't know
not
how
sure-
much you believed it, but
I did. I haven't seen it enough from Atlanta's defense all year, and I think the Bills are going to win this game for the same reason.
Atlanta's defense isn't the reason they lost this game. I mean, they didn't give up many points.
No,
Bills.
I know that's not the reason, but that was my reasoning when picking the Bills. I mean, for this game, I'll pick the Bills just because I think they're just a better team, and they're just more dynamic, and they've just been playing lights out football all year so far. And they want to improve on that lead over the Patriots. I mean, if they continue at this pace, we actually may see an AFC
I'm not
East.
getting that carried away with the Bills. Like, it was a great win. I love their defense, the way it's playing at the moment. That Tre'Davious White has been a stud as a rookie. I mean, damn, he has started the season really well. They're getting pass rush. The backers are playing aggressively, but the offense isn't there. Like, Tyrod Taylor won't turn it over. We know that, but the passing game is inconsistent as heck. The run game has struggled this year. I actually think the Bengals win this one. I think they started to get going. I think defensively they're good enough to keep the Bills very quiet, and just the Bengals have more playmakers.
yeah, I'd agree with that one. I can't see the Bills keeping this up too long.
I mean, they'll stop the Bengals scoring too many. It's just feels like if you play the Bills, just stop Tyrod Taylor doing anything crazy on the scramble drills and stop LaShawn McCoy. And I mean, Charles Clay went nuts at the weekend, but that was. I don't think you can rely on 120-yard games from Charles Clay every week.
No.
So I'll move on from that one then. You on the Bills bandwagon though, Dan?
For the first time ever.
Fair enough. We'll move on to the battle of the 0-4 teams. Man, this is two disappointing teams.
Well, beginning of the schedule, this would have looked like a good game.
Yeah, I mean, these teams were playoff picks for most prognosticators. Maybe not the Chargers, but some people thought they'd get there. Yeah, I thought the Chargers, again, they're weird because they're 0-4, and I don't think they've been particularly bad.
No, I think they've been unlucky.
Yeah, I thought they were the better team at the weekend.
They just can't seem to finish games. They've got the same problem they had last year. They can't finish.
Yeah, Rivers played great. Their kicker made all his kicks this week. Defence struggled a little, but they did enough. Keenan Allen, he's come back really strong.
Yeah.
Having a great season. And the Giants, they showed signs of life eventually. Slow start against the Bucs doomed them, but the offense found its rhythm, and they found their running back. I don't know if you guys saw that Wayne Gallman guy. He played pretty well in the second half.
Yeah.
And they found an offense that they had a new offensive line sort of group, mixed it up a bit. It was much more effective. So, yeah, it's hard to say things to be positive about for the Giants because I don't think there's anyone that would have thought they were going to be 0-4.
No way.
And I know you like playing contrarian
as well, though.
Yeah, same with the Chargers. Did you see either of these teams being 0-4, Dan?
No. I mean, look at the additions New York made in the offseason. They got Brad and Marshall in, didn't they?
Marshall struggled.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought going in the Giants. I didn't think they'd be awesome.
No,
but I thought they'd be competitive. Chargers, I'm always down on the Chargers. I've never believed. But I thought they'd be again.
Your weird dislike for Philip Rivers.
Yeah, but I thought they'd at least squeeze 1 or 2 games out. I would not have expected this, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm gonna say I get to do this once a week. This one I'm definitely calling a tie because it would be hilarious.
It would.
It would sound like last seasons.
I'm going to go with... I think the Chargers win this one. I really do. That defensive line should go nuts against this team. And the Giants have got some injuries at the moment. I like the Chargers.
We're all going to go on different ones here then. I'm going to go on the Giants here. I just think Odell will have himself a game. I think the Chargers will struggle to contain him.
Fair enough. It's tough
with Odell, though, you do have an issue at the moment where he did tweak his injury again this week.
Of course he did. He had a lot of catches. And toward the end, down the stretch in that game, he had a lot of catches and took some hits.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, aside from your team sucking, that's got to be a big worry that he came back from injury and then aggravated the injury again. So,
well, next up, this is an interesting one. The Jags head into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Jags, I mean, once again, just because we need the point to be reinforced every week. Blake Bortles is a goddamn liability.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
But he seems to go one bad, good, one bad, one good.
He's limiting my Leonard Fournette fantasy points. Or is he helping? I don't even know. Because Fournette gets the ball so much. Leonard Fournette's been great, by the way. Can we all agree on that?
Oh, yeah. And the Jags D has played very well. But you're still...
They have. A couple of big run busts at the weekend ended up costing them the game, but...
Yeah,
the Jags should have won that.
Jags' strength on that defense, I think the D-line still has its issues. I think they still give up big plays. They still, if they're facing a strong O-line, they can't break through. I think their strength is coming from their secondary. The secondary is still doing a great job.
Although, can I point out what's probably going to be one of the premier matchups this year is that rookie Jags corner. Oh, what's his name?
You mean the one who was a rookie last year, Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, sorry, no, my bad. I get them confused. Him versus Antonio Brown. That's gonna be amazing to watch.
Jalen Ramsey's played really well this year, so.
Yeah,
I mean, then on the other side, you got Matavis Bryant on AJ Boye, so.
Yeah, I mean,
the thing with the Steelers, though, Roethlisberger has been very, very mediocre this year.
He has. But
he's not got it going at all.
But the thing is with the Jags, I just think they're getting gashed by running backs this year.
Yeah, and we saw Lev Bell last week.
Yeah.
Lev Bell.
This is his breakout game this year.
Well, he had it last week, didn't he, against the Ravens? That was ominous. He was really dangerous.
This is his bigger breakout.
Yeah.
This is him saying he's back fully, like 2 weeks in a row, and it's going to be too much for the Jags to handle. I just can't see the Jags handling this one well. The Steelers do a great job.
Impressive.
Yeah, but the Steelers do a great job on defense of getting turnovers.
Yeah, Shazir's been playing great again.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be too much for Balls.
Yeah.
He pooped his pants.
The Steelers at home tend not to have their boo-boo games, so I'll trust that they've just got too much for this Jags team.
Yeah, no, I'm with the Steelers on this as well. Steelers are a hard team to play at home as well, like ridiculously consistent. So I've got the Steelers for this.
That is right. We'll move on to the last of the 1 o'clock games. The Cardinals and the Eagles, a rematch of the first ever NFL game you watched, Dan.
Well, yep.
Not quite. Stakes aren't quite as high this time around.
No, they're not. And I think we beat the Eagles the last time we faced them. But then again, I said this about the Dallas one, and we shouldn't have lost that either. In theory, the Cardinals will lose this game. I don't see the consistency. I don't see the explosiveness. I don't see any form of protection for Carson Palmer. And FYI, just if this keeps up, he took 7, 8 sacks, I think, in that Niners game. Something stupid.
He took a lot of hits. It was bad.
Yeah, we're talking about, this is the first time in years I've seen when a quarterback stats come up for the year, they've actually kept the sack count going on him this year. Whenever they bring up his stats in televised games, it's got yards, touchdowns,
people are
INTs.
cracking all over Palmer. He is not the biggest problem on this offense.
No, I think people are being unfair to Palmer. Does he make stupid mistakes? Yes, but I think when you've got 4 guys of the opposite team in your face all the time, like from the snap, I think you would as well. But on paper, Eagles should win this. They're just more consistent. They've proved they can come through in the clutch. Cardinals, no such thing. But I'm going to pick the Cardinals anyway because I always believe.
Fair enough. I mean, I thought the Cardinals were very, very iffy against the Niners. Like, defensively, they were all right. I'm not going to give them too much credit for shutting down the Niners. But the offense, just until they can protect, they can't run block, and the line is just dooming them. And then you've got the Eagles. I thought they were a bit fortunate at the weekend. I think they struggled to move the ball consistently. Defensively, they got shredded in the secondary.
Oh, actually, on that note with the Eagles, is what I'm not looking forward to is if they bring out LeGarrette Blount again, because he had himself a really good game against that Chargers D, and that Chargers D is miles better than ours.
Yeah, the Cardinals D is not. I don't think they're well equipped to deal with a guy that big either. It's quite. Once you get beyond the 3 D linemen, they're a pretty small group.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the funniest play I think I saw in the Niners game is they had that fullback line and Tyrann Mathieu tried to tackle him. I was
that was in overtime.
Poor Honey Badger.
Didn't go well.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I appreciate the effort, but as Deion Sanders used to say,
you've got to go low. If you're Tyrann Mathieu there, you got to go low. In this one, I mean, I have to go with the Eagles. The Cardinals have just been very unimpressive, and that matchup between the Eagles D-line, which is one of the best in football, and the Cardinals O-line is horrific.
We're going to be taking Carson Palmer home in a jar, by the way. I'm calling this now.
If the Cardinals O-line can hold up, then I think they can win this game.
Which it won't. It's the
No.
Cardinals O-line.
It won't. It won't.
We've struggled
The Cardinals won't
against.
be able to run the ball. Palmer's going to get killed. I think the Cardinals' defense will have some success, but it won't be enough. Arnie, how do you see this one going?
The Eagles' D-line is going to be way too much for the Cardinals to handle. I mean, we saw with the Cowboys, rushing 3 guys was too much for them. I mean, their D-line isn't exactly great. Yeah. I think, the Cardinals' defense has played average. The Eagles are looking really hot right now. Cardinals, I think Carson Palmer could still have himself a good game. He's been playing fairly well of late, but no, the Eagles are going to be too much for them.
Who knew this game would look so interesting heading into this week at the start of the season? The Seahawks heading to their, if they've got a bogeyman of a team they struggle with, it's the Rams. And now, this year, the Rams are competent.
Hold on. Let's clear something up. The Rams are the bogeyman team for every team in the NFC West, just so you know, because we don't know what it is. Even when the Rams are terrible for the year, when the Rams face an NFC West opponent, they look like a Super Bowl team every single bloody year. It's insane.
So you go that far, but they at least, under Jeff Fisher, looked semi-competent on offense. The Seahawks, not particularly impressive, I didn't think, against the Colts. I mean, a ton of points in the end, but...
Yeah, they just beat on a cupcake team. Whoop-de-doo.
They were very sloppy in the first half on both sides of the ball, I thought.
Yeah, and with this Rams offense as well, you can't afford to be sloppy, because it's just, no. And that defense as well, they can't afford that. Where is it? Are the Seahawks
as well as that,
Seahawks
lost... We didn't mention this one, actually, in the injuries. The Seahawks lost that Chris Carson with a fractured leg. He's going to be out for a while. He'd been playing quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is funny, because it means we get to see Fat Eddie Lacy, and Fat Eddie Lacy amuses me. But
wait, I thought you lost weight. I thought you had incentives in his contract.
Yeah, he still looks fat.
Yeah,
And he still runs like he's fat right now. Whereas the Rams-Cowboys, that was a heck of a game. Big win for the Rams.
It looked like a close game as well. When I
It was a close-ish game. It was weird how it went. So the Cowboys dominated early on. It looked like the game was going to be, a blowout. And then the second half, the Rams' defense tightened up. Prescott made some mistakes in the second half. He could have had a really bad day. And the Rams just caught fire.
Well, I think that speaks more to the coaching of Sean McVay making the adjustment.
Well, you two are basically like the founders of the Sean McVay fan club.
I'm the founder.
Yeah, I
was on this from the get-go.
Yeah, I'm just the treasurer.
Just bandwagon.
Fair enough. The two-man... Well, it's probably a bigger than two-man bandwagon now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, but yeah, going to the game itself. I got. You didn't answer me or you didn't hear me. Are the Seahawks at home or the Rams at home?
This is Rams at home.
I do not see them losing this. I'm going to be honest with you. I think McVay is.
You can see Jared Goff beating the Seahawks defense.
Mariota did.
Mariota is a bit of a better quarterback.
Well, Goff played well so far this year, crazily.
But they have better weapons, and Todd Gurley's on a mad one.
Yeah, Todd Gurley has certainly turned up this season.
Yes, he has.
What a joy you can have in football this week, Todd Gurley carrying your fantasy team.
Yeah, so that's what he's done for the first 4 weeks. Yeah. But I've been really impressed with this Rams offense. I mean, if you go back to the season previews, I said that Rams were my dark horse team, and I'm still standing by that now. The offenses look great. Sean McVay has done wonders for that offense.
Yeah. Well,
the defense has looked a bit shoddy. It's given up quite a few points, but it is still transitioning to a 3-4. But the Rams just need to carry on leaning on Todd Gurley because it works.
It's been working. It's the way they've used him in the passing game this year as well. Very different.
Yeah. teams are struggling to contain him.
Yeah, and getting Sammy Watkins, like he had a quiet game on Sunday, but having a vertical threat and an actual legitimate receiver just helps everyone. Cooper Kupp's been really solid for him. The offensive line, like they've made so many additions and they've all seemed to have worked out. But mainly, Jared Goff is actually playing like an NFL player.
So who's your pick then? I'm only bringing this up because it's almost been an hour.
So
trying to move
both of you are on the Rams.
Yes.
I'm on the Seahawks in this one. I just think Jared Goff, this is the game where he reminds everyone that he's still Jared Goff. He's not there yet. He's shown plenty for people to be positive about, but the Seahawks really need this one, and I don't think that defense is going to let Todd Gurley do what he's been doing to them. I think the Seahawks have a bit of a statement game here.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. As much as I love this Rams team at the moment, I still can't see them beating the Seahawks defense.
We'll move on to the next one. This game is not so interesting now. Some injuries have sapped this one. We've got the Ravens heading to Oakland to take on the Raiders. The Ravens just look terrible right now. This offense is...
It's horrible. It's horrible to watch.
It was...
But then again, this could be another one like the Tennessee-Miami game where it doesn't look like a great game on paper at all anymore. It's not good.
EJ Manuel versus Joe Flacco.
Yeah, it's
with a bad back.
I mean, it's quite similar to the Jay Cutler versus Matt Castle.
Yeah.
Quite similar.
I mean, the Ravens, just that offense is so bad. Defensively, they're playing okay. Flacco, like that line is really bad. The Assembly injuries just crushed them because they were just running the ball like maniacs behind him.
No, they can't run the ball at all.
Now he's gone. Their offensive line has just fell apart. So, further proof Assembly was the best offensive lineman in football. Called it. Oakland, disappointing result for them at the weekend. Thought the defence played really well though.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack was everywhere.
Yeah, Khalil Mack had himself a game.
Yes, he did. He's quite good at this, it turns out.
Yeah.
Although I think with the car injury though, I think the Raiders are done.
I don't know what's going on with Amari Cooper right now.
A lot of drops.
A lot of drops.
Get open.
Yeah, just they were missing Crabtree in this one, and the offense just got shut down. It was brutal. Marshawn Lynch going for just over a yard a carry. What has happened to this Denver run D?
Yeah.
We were going into this year saying teams can run on them.
No, I mean, I think I saw a stat earlier, and they've held the 4 running backs they have faced to 95 yards, all between all 4 of them.
That's just dumb. I know they're ranked number 1 in the league by a mile right now in run defense.
But yeah, they've given up 95.
They've got that secondary. That's just mean.
Yeah.
So who have we got for this one? I mean, does look like it could be a bit of a meh.
Well, the Raiders' defense has been better than I expected so far this year. Oh, this one's really hard to pick without Derek Carr there.
I'm going to pick the Raiders for this one game while Carr's out for one reason. Blake Bortles put up silly points on the Ravens.
I'm going for the Raiders just because I think Joe Flacco's going to get battered by this Raiders pass rush. And I think that'll be the difference in this game.
I'd agree on that one as well.
Ooh, moving on to what probably is for a lot of people the game of the week. It's definitely the easiest one for the NFL to hype. The Packers heading to Dallas to take on the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys came off a really rough loss, and they dominated the first half, and they looked sharp, and then they just fell apart. The defense completely fell apart.
Well, the defense without Sean Lee especially, just really.
The thing is though, if they have a similar, that's not something they can afford to do against Aaron Rodgers of all bloody quarterbacks. I mean, there's no way that if they fall apart again, that defense, if they can't hold it together.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the Packers, you can't even say much about that game against the Bears.
The thing is,
that
though,
was just too easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Packers games where, you know.
The problem is the Packers, like, they just need to get healthy. Their injury list is massive.
Yeah.
But I think one of the crucial things about this game as well, especially from the Cowboys' perspective, even with some of the injuries the Packers have got, is if the Packers score early, score often, can the Cowboys legitimately mount a comeback? I think that's going to be the tale of this game.
The Cowboys making any kind of comeback against teams is their defence. And I think they've been okay against the run, but the last few weeks that secondary has started to look like we expected it to.
Yeah.
And, you know, Aaron Rodgers is playing well. Jordy Nelson's started the season well. I think the Cowboys find a way to win this one, though. I think it's a big spot for them. I think they need this game. The Packers just have so many injuries. I can see the Cowboys getting some pass rush on Rodgers. I think Zeke has a big game in this one. I think the Cowboys steal it.
I'm going to go the opposite. I believe more in Aaron Rodgers than I do in any member of the Cowboys. So, even as a unit, I think the Packers will walk away.
You really don't like Aaron Rodgers?
No, I don't like facing him, but, you know, we've always beaten him in the postseason, so, no, I don't really care that much. But, no, I think the Packers walk away with this. Aaron Rodgers always finds a way to make it happen, even when there's no one to throw to. I don't think the Cowboys can keep up.
It's just I worry about their O-line. And, yeah, I just think the Cowboys, I think they have a bit of a bounce back in this one. I think Prescott will play really well. And I think the Packers will just basically just be attrition. Too many injuries. I think they lose this one.
Arnie?
I've got the Packers in this one. Just Aaron Rodgers will make plays on his own. He'll do his thing.
I mean, that's the thing. You can pick the Packers in any game and just use Aaron Rodgers as your justification.
Yeah.
It's legit justification. The Sunday night game actually looks really interesting now. The Chiefs, once again, because they're like the primetime kings this year. Did the NFL know they were going to be good or something?
Must have done.
Primetime games. And they're heading to Houston to take on the suddenly interesting Texans.
I wouldn't call the Texans suddenly interesting. However, this is actually...
I think they are. I think Deshaun Watson makes them interesting to watch now.
No, but I think going into this game, I mean, obviously the Texans doing what they did to the Titans. The thing is, though, is this is my pick for game of the week because this is going to be the first legitimate team the Texans will have faced this year. And Deshaun Watson, there's a lot of hype around him at the moment. I can understand why. His learning curve.
Bear in mind the performance he put up against the Patriots. Now we know the Patriots' defense isn't very good.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. You can't even take that into account. I mean, it's Chiefs D versus Patriots D. I'm sorry.
Bear in mind how we were all laughing at that game, saying, "Oh, Deshaun Watson going up against as a rookie going up against Bill Belichick."
We said the same last week for him going up against LeBeau.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this is the Chiefs D. You know, they can actually cover, tackle.
Oh no,
they can actually play defense.
I don't think you're giving Deshaun Watson quite enough credit there.
No, I am giving him enough credit. I think
some of his throws were on point. Like he was making a lot of great plays. Yeah, I mean, he had the one boo-boo pick.
Yeah,
which was forced. But yeah.
If the Texans somehow walk away with this game, somehow, and not even touching on the Chiefs' offensive side of the ball, if the Texans win this, I think they are legitimately the forerunner for that division, for the title again. But
the Chiefs came out really flat against the Redskins last night.
They did, but they still pulled it off, though. That's the thing, and that's a championship team. If they, the
thing with the Chiefs is like Kareem Hunt just seems to wear teams down. The second half, he was just popping off like 8-9 yard runs, crazy pace. They were spreading the ball about like crazy. Their defense is just really good. I mean, yesterday was the first time the Chiefs struggled with their pass rush, but the secondary played really well. They clamped down on the run game after the Redskins had some success there early. And it was just like once the Chiefs kind of got themselves into the game, they never looked like losing.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, the thing is, I can't
thing
say
is,
the
Alex
Chiefs-
Smith is playing like a man possessed. Like
Yeah, I never thought I'd hear those words. It sounds weird, doesn't
he's
it?
playing great.
Yeah,
Like, you could argue he's an MVP candidate at this point.
I think he's probably the only MVP
He'd probably fall behind
candidate.
Kareem Hunt, but
Yeah, but no, I mean, obviously, you know, Chiefs with the pass rush had issues again, but the Washington O line is pretty legit.
no, it's the Chiefs O line pass rush is good. It's just that Washington O line's legit. So I'm not going to read too
And
much
the
into.
Texans, not so much. I think the Chiefs are going to go 5-0 in this, though. I can't see any legitimate way to stop them because they've got
I
they've
think
got
the
everything.
Chiefs win this one because they'll find a way to force a mistake. I don't think they'll win it by much because this Texans defense, I think, can deal with a lot of what they do. I can't see Kareem Hunt going ham against this front seven.
I don't know. He's been finding ways. This is the problem, and you know
He's
you can rely
not
on
played
Alex
any-
Smith.
He's not played anything of this caliber yet.
True, but I mean, they've got
The Chiefs
Hunt,
faced
but
a great defense yet? That's the one question I guess you could throw at them.
who have they faced so far? Washington, the Pats.
Washington, the Pats. But they haven't played divisional games. The Eagles. The Eagles' defense is okay. I wouldn't say it's great.
Well, the Eagles got a pretty good D. I mean, let's be fair here. They've
They've got a really good D line. The rest of the D's,
yeah, well, they've got a good D line, much like the Texans, and Kareem Hunt still went on a mad one. So
I remember who they beat in the other game. That's going to bug me. That's fine. I'll remember at some point. Yeah, I mean, I've got the Chiefs in this one. It's just I trust them to not make the mistakes that I think Deshaun Watson will, and I think those mistakes will be the difference.
are they?
We all on the Chiefs?
I'm on the Chiefs. I think even when you look at the Texans defense in the first half of the Titans game, they weren't even playing that well. I mean, if the Titans carried on with the same game plan we would have over the last few games and run on them, the run game was getting going before we took that big deficit. And I just don't think they're going to contain Kareem Hunt at all. I just don't think that Texans D is all that is cracked up to be this year. It's not played well over the last few games at all. I think they're going to get carved. And I think Deshaun Watson will make a few too many mistakes this week.
Well, we will see. Monday night, we've got the Vikings without Dalvin Cook and probably with Case Keenum again. So
Yeah.
that's a way sadder looking backfield than it was in week one.
So they've
Taking on the Bears, and this is going to be Mitch Trubisky's first start. I guess the only way to start is how do we feel about the Bears making this decision?
too early.
Called it pre-season. I said start in week one. You traded all that to get him. You might as well find out what you got.
I don't like this matchup to start in.
It's too early.
It's not even necessarily early. It's a game against the Vikings. Like,
But if they're going to do it after a bye week and give him that extra week of reps.
I agree. I mean, we said this earlier when we were talking about this team and when he should start. It's just the Vikings. Like,
I
they've got that
understand.
game
But
film, and Mitchell Trubisky must be like, what the hell is this?
no, I think they should have started in week one. I mean, you already basically mortgaged the future for this dude, so you might as well should have started him. He may have,
The thing is, they're so bad. That
yeah, but
offense
he's
around
also an
him-
unproven product. This is the problem I had, and why I thought they should have started in week one. Is
But
if he stayed
run the risk
hot,
of ruining him. You've got you've got a really poor set of tackles, and the receiving group. Let's face it, the Bears have the worst receiving group in the league right now.
yeah, but what would have changed between now and later on in the year with the tackle and the receiving situation? Nothing. So you've got nothing
You're
to
not
lose.
playing against the Minnesota Vikings
Then why trade all the bloody picks for him? Why? What was the point?
long term.
Long term, it's the Bears. They're not going to be good for another 5 years. You might as well at least throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks at this point.
Nah.
Do you remember how bad? Do you remember how bad the Rams were last year?
Yeah.
And they sat Jared Goff, and then look at them this year.
They sat Jared Goff because Jared Goff was more raw than Trubisky was. Everyone.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. They're about the same.
Trubisky is the highest drafted player with the lowest number of games.
Yeah.
He's only played 12 games in college.
Either way, this is completely beside the point. Is Vikings going to go ham? No doubt about it.
I don't know if the Vikings will go ham. The Bears D is quite good. The Vikings at the weekend, the offense was just a mess.
Yeah. It is going to be a slugger, a disgusting one.
Yeah.
I think the pressure on Trubisky will be way too much to handle, especially against the defense. It's a horrible matchup for him.
I think we'll see both of these QBs under a lot of pressure, but the Vikings have better weapons and
so we've all got the fight.
Defense, a better all-round defense. The Bears trying to get open on this Viking secondary. Yeah, I don't see it. So I've got the Vikes in this one.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Cool. We'll just throw out a quick word about all of the teams on the bye this week because, we've got those again. The Falcons, obviously a disappointing loss. Is this team in big trouble if Julio and Sanu miss extended time?
Yeah, no doubt. They haven't got enough playmakers on their offense, receiver-wise.
Still got Gabriel, still got Austin Hooper, still got those running backs. I don't think they're doomed.
Not as massive a factor as Julio, though.
You can't replace Julio. I think they'd be okay. I think defensively they're better this year. Division's tough, but all the divisional games come late in the season. I think if they maybe miss... It doesn't even sound like they're going to miss next week, to be honest, but we've not really heard. We'll hear more on Wednesday. Dan, do you think they can overcome these injuries if they're significant?
Well, no. It's kind of how that rolls, really.
Yeah, fair enough. The Broncos. Is this the best defense in football?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Easy.
It's hard to argue. I mean, you've got the best group of corners. A run defense playing out of its mind. Von Miller's been quiet this year, and it doesn't even matter. They've been that good.
Yeah.
And Travis Simeon's playing fine. The Broncos weren't particularly impressive on offense. I thought their line struggled against the Raiders.
How many teams are on bye this week?
4.
4. Okay, no, just warning because we're at the 1 hour 15-minute mark. So.
What did you guys think of that catch though in the Broncos game, the one-handed one?
Oh, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing, that catch.
Good catch. So the Broncos think they're legit this year?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You concerned about this offense at all? 2 slow weeks in a row?
No, because the defense can keep them in it. I mean, if they can drag Peyton to a Super Bowl, they can drag Simeon to it.
Dan, what do you think? Legit?
Of course they are. Defense will keep them in.
I think they are, and I think their offense will get going once their offensive line gets their injured players back. I think they look a good team this year. The Saints. Where do we all lie on the Saints? I mean, they won that game at the weekend, sure. Offense looked good in the second half. And it was a shutout, so...
I mean, I don't know what to make of that Saints. I mean, was it good defense, bad offense, a mixture of both? I mean, I don't know.
They have a lot to think about during the bye week. The defense is garbage. Miami game notwithstanding. They can't rely on just Drew Brees with his...
But the offensive line's getting healthier. Willie Snead will be back. Alvin Kamara looks like the real deal.
Yeah.
But, the defense is still garbage.
The Saints are one of these teams this year that just seems to be improving week after week.
We've got to see what this defense is like.
Yeah.
You see, they played last. Oh, the Panthers, and the Panthers were in the middle of their funk. I need to see them put in a reasonable defensive performance against a team playing well on offense. We got the Redskins. They're also at 2-2, just like the Saints. What do we think of this year's version of the Redskins so far?
They're looking really good. The connection with Terrell Pryor is starting to click a bit more now.
Nice catch yesterday over Marcus Peters. I mean, they could have won that game if Josh Dotson makes that catch near the end of the game. The Redskins probably win.
Kirk Cousins is playing well. The defensive line is playing great.
Yeah, their line's real good.
I think the Redskins have a legitimate shot this year.
Dan, do you feel like you can talk on this one, or do you feel like you need to see last night's game first?
Yeah, I didn't actually catch last night's game. I didn't get the opportunity, but I believe in Cousins. I think the biggest threat they've got in that division is the Eagles.
The biggest surprise with this Skins team is their defense is playing really well. Their secondary, like they were hitting people yesterday, like old school type hitting. It was really good. The secondary's playing great. Little concerned to see the Josh Norman injury news, but he might be all right. He'll probably just have a flat jacket. And the offense, I'm still not convinced by them at this stage, but they're improving weekly. So, yeah, I think they can compete within that division. The Cowboys aren't looking great this year. The Giants are a mess, and the Eagles, they've got flaws. So that division is, as we thought it would be at the start of the year, wide open. And yeah, that covers everyone. I can't believe the bye weeks are back.
Wait until week 8. It's about 6 teams on a bye. Or 8 teams, I think.
Yeah, well, they've made them more compact this year. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And, week 5 seems awfully early, doesn't it?
It does.
And I say that as
You had one in week 1.
With no bye, yeah. The week 1 bye. But there you have it. Anything anyone wants to bring up before wrap up?
No, I think we've covered most bases.
Yeah. Surely you'll be happier for next week's one.
I hope so. We'll see. I'm a bit miserable today. The loss is still hurting.
Yeah.
It's not even that. If it was a close loss, I'd be slightly annoyed. But that was a battering. It was humiliating.
That's the kind of game you'll remember forever. It was that bad.
Yeah, I still remember the Patriots one.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, the snow game.
CJ had a good game that game.
Dan?
What?
Anything?
No,
You
nothing.
don't? Cool. Right, well, there you have it, guys. That's I'll look at week 5, and I guess I'll look back on week 4. As always, thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate you. Check out more stuff on the channel. There's loads of it now. Going to get a bunch of reviews and previews done over the next few days. I'm off Thursday, Friday, so I should be very, very productive. And yeah, you can. I just did the like, share, subscribe bit, so do it anyway. Reinforcement's sake. Always good to do this. We'll be back next Tuesday, same time. Week 5 already. Where does it all go?
Same bat time, same bat place.
Yeah, that's the one. So have a good evening, guys. Go Bucks.